This is why Daniel is important to the end times. Before Revelation ever thundered from Patmos, Daniel had already drawn the blueprint. Every major end-time doctrine, kingdoms, timelines, the Antichrist, the resurrection, the final judgment, is rooted in Daniel's visions. To understand the last days, you don't start with Revelation. You start with Daniel. Daniel is not optional for prophecy, he is the foundation stone. Jesus himself pointed to Daniel when describing the end of the age, anchoring his warnings in Daniel's words. That alone tells us Daniel is not ancient history, he is present truth. The man who stood in two worlds. Daniel lived in Babylon but belonged to another kingdom. He served pagan kings, yet his loyalty was unshakably aligned with the God of Israel. This dual existence made him the perfect vessel for end-time revelation. He understood earthly power structures, but he also saw the invisible realm behind them. He interpreted dreams for kings, but he received visions from the King of Kings. Daniel's life teaches us that prophetic clarity requires spiritual separation even while living in a corrupt world. The four kingdoms, the skeleton of history. Nebuchadnezzar's statue in Daniel 2 is not just a dream, it is the divine outline of world empires. Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, Rome, each kingdom rises and falls exactly as Daniel saw. This is not coincidence, it is sovereignty. Daniel shows that history is not random but architected. And the final kingdom, the iron mixed with clay, points to the fractured global system of the last days. Without Daniel, we would not understand the geopolitical stage Revelation assumes. The little horn, the Antichrist's shadow. Daniel is the first prophet to describe the Antichrist with precision. He calls him the little horn, a small beginning with a massive rise. He uproots three powers, speaks blasphemies, persecutes the saints, and changes laws and times. Daniel gives the Antichrist a profile, a pattern, and a purpose. Revelation later expands this figure, but Daniel introduces him. This is why Daniel is essential. He gives us the silhouette before the full shadow appears. The 70 weeks, the divine time clock. Daniel 9 contains the most precise prophetic timeline in Scripture. The 70 weeks prophecy is the backbone of end-time chronology. It predicts the exact arrival of Messiah the Prince. It predicts his being cut off, crucified, after the 69th week. It predicts the destruction of Jerusalem. And it leaves one final week, the 70th week, unfulfilled. This final week becomes the 7-year framework Revelation builds upon. Without Daniel, the 7-year tribulation would have no biblical anchor. The abomination of desolation. Jesus himself said, "When you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel." He didn't reference Ezekiel. He didn't reference Zechariah. He referenced Daniel. Because Daniel identifies the event that divides the final 7 years. The midpoint, the desecration, the moment the Antichrist reveals his true nature. Daniel gives the timing. Revelation gives the details. Together they form a synchronized prophetic clock. The beast kingdoms, the ancient blueprint. Daniel 7 reveals 4 beasts rising from the sea, the spiritual identities behind the earthly empires. These beasts reappear in Revelation 13, merged into one final global system. John is not creating something new, he is expanding Daniel's vision. Daniel shows the beasts separately. Revelation shows them united. This tells us the end-time system is a hybrid of past empires. Daniel gives the DNA. Revelation gives the full organism. The Ancient of Days, the courtroom of heaven. Daniel is the first prophet to describe the heavenly courtroom. Thrones are set. Books are opened. Judgment begins. This scene is echoed in Revelation 20 at the Great White Throne. Daniel shows the beginning of the judgment. Revelation shows the conclusion. Daniel reveals the Ancient of Days. Revelation reveals the Lamb. Together they reveal the full picture of divine justice. The resurrection, the two destinies. Daniel 12 gives one of the clearest resurrection prophecies in Scripture. Some rise to everlasting life. Some rise to everlasting shame. Revelation later expands this into the first and second resurrection. Daniel gives the categories. Revelation gives the sequence. This is why Daniel is essential. He frames eternity before John describes it. The time of trouble, the final pressure. Daniel 12 describes a time of trouble unlike anything before it. Jesus quotes this directly in Matthew 24. Revelation unfolds the seals, trumpets, and bowls that express this trouble. Daniel gives the headline. Revelation gives the detail. Together they reveal the final shaking that precedes the kingdom. The final word, why Daniel matters now. Daniel is not a book about the past, it is a map for the future. It explains the rise of globalism, the fragmentation of nations, and the emergence of a final world ruler. It reveals the countdown clock that restarts in the 70th week. It shows the saints under pressure but also under divine protection. It reveals the Ancient of Days taking his seat. It reveals the Son of Man receiving his kingdom. It reveals the end of human empires and the beginning of Christ's eternal reign. This is why Daniel is important to the end times. Because without Daniel, the end times cannot be understood. Daniel is the architect. Revelation is the construction. And the kingdom is the finished structure. Thanks for walking through this teaching with me. Daniel's words are not relics, they're the framework of the days we're stepping into. If you learned something today, like the video, subscribe and tap the bell. It keeps you connected as we uncover the next revelation.